form a test flight. Drone pilots from the 80th Airborne Assault Brigade fighting near Bakhmut said Ukraine was gaining the upper hand through more organized supplies and greater spending. Their drones are always in the air day and night. We can see they've implemented serial production of drones for reconnaissance, surveillance, and for strikes, said a 34-year-old drone platoon commander, who introduced himself by the call sign Comrade. While it is hard to assess Russian numerical superiority in FPVs accurately, and the experiences of the unit near Bakhmut provides only a snapshot of what is happening, Comrade estimated it at around double what Ukraine had on his sector of the front. In the Siversk and Slobozhansky directions, the adversary maintains military presence in border areas, conducts reconnaissance and sabotage activities, fires on populated areas from the territory of the Russian Federation, and increases the density of mine explosive barriers along the Ukrainian state border. How Ukrainian forces bomber drone blow up Russian tanks and soldiers near Avdiivka. Today, Ukraine says its vampire bomber drones are becoming such a nightmare for Russia that they've earned a menacing nickname among its troops. The fast, hard-to-detect drone has apparently earned a reputation during its nighttime raids, with Russian forces calling it Baba Yaga, an evil witch from Slavic folklore. Ukraine says the capabilities of the bomber drone allow them to fly close to Russian tanks and armor at night and during the day. Vampire drones also lurk Russian troops both in broad areas and in trenches, before hitting them with major explosives. But on Tuesday, the Ministry of Defense of Ukraine shared a video from United 24, a Ukrainian government-run crowdfunding and digital media site, of the vampire drone, calling the unmanned aerial vehicle, UAV, the Russians' nightmare. The short video focuses on a specific drone unit, unit code 9.2, outside Bakhmut, explaining that the operators use DJI Mavic drones, small UAVs that Ukraine has been using in combat, sometimes crudely attaching explosives to them during the day. But at night, it's time for the vampires to fly, the video says. These UAVs that can fly fast, usually around 23 meters per second, and carry hefty explosive payloads to enemy targets. Ukrainian forces will receive 25 main battle tanks Leopard 1A5 from the German arms manufacturer Rheinmetall as part of an order financed by the German government. The company announced on November 14th that the order consists of 25 Leopard 1 tanks, 5 Bergpanzer II armored recovery vehicles, and 2 driver training tanks, but the delivery will take place next year. As part of the contract, Rheinmetall will provide Ukraine with training, logistics, spare parts, maintenance, and other support services. However, in 2024, Rheinmetall says it will also supply Ukraine with 14 Leopard 2A4 tanks on behalf of the Dutch and Danish governments, and 5 Caracal airmobile-capable vehicles in late 2023, early 2024. In addition to vehicles, Rheinmetall is aiding the Ukrainian armed forces with ammunition, drones, medical facilities, etc., reads the company's statement. According to the November 14th report by the Ukrinform news site, European Commissioner Thierry Breton said that the EU is capable of producing 1 million artillery shells and missiles per year for Ukraine by spring, provided enough effort from member states. Meanwhile, Ukraine's forces in the south have gained a foothold on the eastern bank of the Dnipro River in a significant step for Kyiv's counteroffensive against Russia, according to President Volodymyr Zelensky's chief of staff. The latest development announced by Andriy Yermak on Tuesday comes as a fresh blow to Vladimir Putin's troops, who have been facing a gradual counteroffensive since the spring. A Ukrainian breakthrough across the Dnipro could open up a new line to attack Crimea, which Russia illegally annexed in 2014. Ivan Stupak, a former officer in the security service of Ukraine and now an advisor to the Ukrainian Parliament's National Security, Defense and Intelligence Committee, has told there are some 300 Ukrainian troops operating on the East Bank, most of them Marines. "I'm very sure that this operation could potentially be successful," Stupak said. At least a couple of pieces of heavy equipment have also been transferred to the left bank. The ultimate goal for Kyiv, Stupak said, might be the Black Sea port of Skadovsk, the occupation of which could cut off Russian forces defending the Kinburn Spit and put Crimea under fire control of Kyiv's US-made HIMARS. However, Russian counterattacks have failed to dislodge the Ukrainians from their beachheads. The Institute for the Study of War said on Sunday that Ukrainian units continued ground operations on the eastern bank, though did not make any confirmed gains. The Ukrainian General Staff reported that Ukrainian forces maintain positions on the East Bank and are conducting counter-battery fire in the area. The think tank cited Russian mill bloggers as claiming that fighting continued around Krinky, some 18 miles northeast of Kherson City and a mile from the Dnieper, but added that the tempo of fighting has decreased due to fog and rain. The ISW also said, Russian mill bloggers claimed on December 2nd and 3 that Ukrainian forces continued attempts to transfer reinforcements and supplies to positions on the left bank. The ISW said on November 29th that Russia's failure to establish a cohesive command structure on the East Bank continues to degrade Russian morale and combat capabilities. Russian forces are also grappling with the effects of recent bad weather as storms and freezing temperatures herald the end of the 2023 fighting season. The consequences of the November 27th cyclone in the Black Sea continue to impact Russian military infrastructure in left bank Kherson Oblast and occupied Crimea, the ISW wrote. The unmanned Russian vehicle, stationed atop a wheeled chassis, was reportedly transporting ammunition to enemy combat units. The drone, operated by a pilot from the 110th Mechanized Brigade, was able to track down the vehicle and intercept it en route to Russian-held positions. According to military experts, the payload attached to the FPV drone was most likely a modified version of the PG-7 grenade, typically used in handheld anti-tank RPG-7 grenade launchers. Ukrainian forces have been known to use small FPV drones as flying ammunition, circling until optimal detonation conditions are met. Other variations of these drones are designed to drop a payload on the target and return to the base for refilling. But of course, the forces being targeted are constantly devising ways to avoid such attacks, often using innovative means such as makeshift trench shields made from solar panels. Over the course of the war in Ukraine, Russia's military casualties have amounted to 315,000 troops, accounting for 90% of the forces with which Moscow invaded in February 2022, Reuters reported on December 12, citing a source familiar with U.S. intelligence reports. According to the source, Russia's losses in personnel and military equipment have set back Russia's military modernization by 18 years.